Hello, my name is Opal Singleton. I am the president and CEO of Million Kids, millionkids.org. And this is the Protect and Prevent podcast. I want to share with you some thoughts I've been having about a friend of a friend. This is an interesting concept. For those of you that don't know, this organization, Million Kids, is an organization that is dedicated to keeping kids safe from predators. And we have tens of thousands of hours of research. There are 8 of us across the nation, mostly retired law enforcement or perhaps maybe private investigators and like that. And we care deeply about what is going on in the world in the name of technology and our children. And one of the concepts that occurred to several of us in a recent discussion is that probably 5 of the most dangerous words on earth now are a friend of a friend. And so we want to talk about a friend of a friend and how that is used on our kids, how predators use the idea of a friend to trap our kids online. So one of the things that we know in the work that we have done is that every young person in the world, and frankly, quite a few adults, will use the terminology, "it won't happen to me." I'll know. Oh, mom, I'll know. Oh, dad, I'll know if I'm about to be blackmailed or if somebody is trying to get one over on me. I will know that. And we're just kind of used to that kind of concept. But it is an interesting thing because as they are sure that they're going to know, it is a great opening for a conversation for a parent. The question I suggest that you ask back is, how are you going to know? Tell me your criteria that will tell you when you're talking to someone that might be harmful or want to do bad with you. How are you going to know? And it's an interesting thing because in the past, most kids have used the idea of identifying a predator as someone that is going to just be obvious to them. But it changed a lot in the past. And that's what I really want you as a parent to hear. In fact, I think this might be one of the most important podcasts you could ever hear. And I hope you will listen all the way through and share it with others you know. Because it's an interesting discussion to help kids understand how their world changed. But to help them understand, you have to understand. And that is why I released my recent book called Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. Now, some of you may think that I'm a curmudgeon and that I hate technology and it's like, no, 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 no. You might be surprised that it's just the opposite. In fact, I believe this is the greatest call to leadership for parents all over the world, the greatest call to leadership of all times. But first, you have to educate yourself. You see, this is the first generation of young people online that will be able to connect to the entire world, but the entire world will connect to them. And this is why a friend of a friend is so dangerous. The book, Digital Warfare, is all about how the world changed in the last 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 even in some cases. But few people stop and understand what that means. And it is those people that often end up having a child that is violated. And in 45 cases that we know of, just tragic, tragic cases, the family has lost, especially young guys in their family who have taken their own lives because they trusted a friend of a friend. And as I was thinking about this, I've been thinking about it all night. I think the one thing, if I could teach people around the world, that the most dangerous thing now is a friend of a friend. You see, before the world connected by internet, that is how kids told, who do you know? And, there's somebody that's on my list and like that. But it changed. And let me define that for you. This is all in the book, Digital Warfare. Our Kids on the Front Line. It's on Amazon and it's also at millionkids.org. It's on Kindle and we have it in audio form, Kindle on Amazon and audio form on my website, millionkids.org. So, up until about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, our kids kind of knew who they were dealing with. And think about it, when a child or a young person goes online, they're thinking in terms of social media. In other words, they're talking to people they know. But in 2022 or 23, the entire world connected by internet. Now, to be fair, only 70% of it is connected at this point. But this is why all of this is so important. Your child is the first young person in history that can be connected to the entire world. And as I said, only 70% is connected. Wait till the rest of it gets connected. And that changed the entire ballgame. It is not the same anymore. Now, if you're like me, still on Facebook, you have 45 friends and you know who they are and you friend them and you unfriend them. And so that led us to understanding are they a friend of a friend? How many friends do we share? And then that tells us whether or not we can add them as our friends. So we've been trained all along and probably trained our kids to kind of look for a friend of a friend. But now the entire world is connected by internet. They are no longer dealing with people they know. If you're on Roblox, if you're on Discord, if you're on Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok, you are on there with millions and millions of people, and in a couple of cases, billions of people, and you won't know them. So when the entire world connected by internet, that opened up places that are quite poor around the world, places like Nigeria and Myanmar and Cambodia and Philippines and Pakistan. And those criminal organizations over there immediately recognize that that is a super highway to getting money out of American kids. They also know that American kids are gullible and are easy to take advantage of. And 1 out of 6 boys and 1 out of 7 girls have sent a nude. So it is piece of cake for organized crime to solicit and actually exploit our kids. Unless we bulletproof our kids, unless we go out there and we talk to them and we can share with them how it works. So, this is an important conversation. Sit down with your child and ask them if they know how the world changed. Now, if you yourself don't know, please buy Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line, Amazon or Million Kids, and educate yourself or keep listening to these podcasts and share them with everyone you know. We want to get this in the hands of every organization that we can, especially pastors, especially sports coaches, people that deal with kids, especially teachers and educators, mental health specialists, and like that. So sit down with your child and say, I know you think you're going to know a predator when you see them, but how do you know? And talk about a friend of a friend. You see, what has happened now is we have more than 5.5 billion people online, and a lot of them are not nice people. But they also, at the same time they were connected online with you and your child, they also got the same latest technology that we have. So they have geolocation software. They can know a lot about your child because they know where they're located. They have global money transfer. And by the way, your child was the first to learn how to use money online with Bitcoin in their video gaming. They have artificial intelligence that can gather up a whole portfolio about your child. So let's say your child was homecoming king. That's announced out there online. Let's say they're being recruited by some school because they're hot in a sport. Okay. That is online. Let's say they're homecoming queen. That is online. Let's say they got a scholarship somewhere, or they've already chosen a university and they've announced that online. You see, it is not hard now with artificial intelligence to very quickly pull up a profile of your child and of you. And I would challenge you to sit down with your child and say, okay, the world changed, so we can't use the same criteria as if everybody is online, and as if we're not online with all the people. So Google yourself, build a portfolio of yourself, get your young person to sit down and build a portfolio of themselves. What is online? What can those people from Nigeria see about you? Think about you, mom and dad. Have you listed your house on Zillow lately? Because if they did, the inside of your house appears. And one of the victims that we dealt with or read about in research, he said, Mom, they knew everything about you. They had a picture of you. They have a picture of where you were. They had photographs of my bedroom. Well, their home had been on Zillow. So if you've had a home on Zillow, contact your realtor. You can't do this yourself, but contact your realtor and ask them to take it down as soon as you buy the house. The same kind of thing on Google Earth. Go in on Google Earth and block that out. But share that with your child. You see, the other thing your child probably does not know is that literally all your Instagram followers, all your TikTok followers are public information. And unless you make that private, anybody can access it. So let's say that you're a part of a cartel in Nigeria and you find this young person over here. And in this case, right now, it's primarily boys. And you find this young person and they're very popular. And you can use AI to build a whole portfolio about them. And you can get the list of their followers. So, guess how this works, mom and dad? Sometime at their weakest moment, and that can be anything, by the way. By the way, we all have weak moments. No, I'm no different than anybody else. But let's say your kid's team won and they're feeling all kind of high, and some girl comes on and goes, she's hot, she's 14, and she's a friend of a friend, and she knows your friend's name, maybe one or two of your friends, and she knows that you're going to go off to school or that you're being recruited by somebody, and it will look like somebody you know. We have to teach our kids to do an about face. No longer is friend of a friend the right criteria, because anybody can get that information about you now all over the world. And that's exactly what happens. Let's say maybe you broke up with your girlfriend, or you're in a fight with your folks, or you didn't get your geometry lesson done, or you're about to fail somewhere. And suddenly, late at night, this cute little honey comes on, okay? And she is hot. And she knows your friends, and it seems like you know her. We have to teach our kids that the criteria changed, and we have to do it together. Mom and dad, this is an important discussion. This is a time in our life where we put our wagging finger away and we sit down and we equip our child at the same time we equip ourselves, because this world is changing. I encourage you to read the book so that you're more equipped than your child. But I also need you to sit down and have these conversations. You see, I think this is the most important conversation you can ever have. It isn't a thou shalt not. I am not against parameters, by the way. I have no problem whatsoever setting standards on there. I think it's important that you sit down with your child and talk about digital morality. Is it okay to kill a cop online? How about digital empathy? When you use AI to make a deep fake of some girl in your class, you are hurting someone. How are you going to handle that as a Christian man or as an ethical young man? So we need to talk about defining our values and our digital reputation. Who are we online? And what do we stand for? And I think setting down your values is one of those important discussions. Let me tell you why that's so important. We are just getting started in the complexity of this technology. This generation of kids are the first generation that can live in a globally connected world with artificial intelligence, with geolocation software, with global money transfer, and we got to get them ready. Now, I'm not against holding back phones for younger people. I recommend it. And I'm not against setting standards and checking phones. But I also think that this is the greatest call to leadership of all time. And we have to get this generation ready because it's going to get more and more complex. This generation of leaders are going to lead all future generations in a world without borders and homes without walls. And they will be approached by millions of pedophiles and predators. And we have to get them ready. How we prepare this generation of young people to live in that globally connected world where they will be accessed by people they don't know, looking really good to them. This will set the stage for all future generations. And so we need to have these conversations. And that is why we at Million Kids do what we do. And that is why I wrote the book, Digital Warfare, Our Kids on the Front Line. I need you to be a call to leadership. Buy the book, get involved, take a leadership role with Million Kids, and help us prepare this next generation. So they come on like a friend of a friend. What do? We need to immediately teach our kids to go, oh, that's good. That's great. I got to go now. I'll get back to you. And you get off there right now. And especially if they're appearing to be sexy in nature. Run, baby, run. Teach your children that. Run, baby, run. Get out of there. Just go, oh, that's cool, but I got to go now. Bye. And then contact the friends they say and see what they know. And that is important to understand. If that happened to them, then I think you and that child need to talk about it and let them know that you're proud of them. You're not going to take their phone. That's the first thing we got to get past. Okay. In the past, we go, I'm taking your phone. You're not ready for this thing yet. No. We need to grow together. And so your child needs to know, oh, this happened to me. This will happen to nearly every child on earth very shortly at the rate these are happening. Ask your child if they know what financial sextortion is. This is a very important conversation, especially if you have teenage boys. And especially if those teenage boys are high achievers. One of the things I get so often from parents and especially pastors and people that could, sports coaches and people that could be leaders, is they'll go, well, our kids are good kids. Do you know that in the last 3 years, more than 45 young guys have taken their own life from financial sextortion? And that is because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know how it worked. And as the grieving parents, and these are just travesties, I have read every one of these cases, and the grieving parents go, I never heard of financial sextortion. If all the young people in your life today are online and you have not had a financial sextortion discussion with them, stop immediately, and educate yourself about financial sextortion. Go on to millionkids.org and put in financial sextortion. Write me an email. I'll send it to you. It's Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Or simply go to millionkids.org and get the audio version of the book. You can also get the download. I mean, we're not talking about a lot of money. It's like $5, okay? Or go to Amazon and get the paperback version or get the Kindle version. Stop everything and learn chapter 10 so that you can see it on there. Financial sextortion takes place because cartels all over the world are now online with your child. And one of the reasons it's so important is only 70% of the world is connected. Think about when the poorer countries come on, every one of our kids are at risk. Financial sextortion is when they get someone over there to pretend to be a hot 14-year-old girl or a guy, and they're a friend of a friend. And they already know quite a bit about you, and you are comfortable with them. That is why this conversation is so important. From here on out, you and your young person need to recognize that is a run, baby, run moment. Okay, get the heck out of there. Do not give them any more information. You might even block them, but you might want to screenshot anything you have and turn it over to authorities because so many kids are being violated. So here's how it works. They come on in a weak moment. They're a friend of a friend. They kind of know about you and they start getting sexy. So that's exactly how it goes. Now, what has happened to the 45 young people is they did not understand what was going on, and they were lured in at a weak moment to sending a nude. Now, I believe that most of these kids wouldn't have sent a nude in the past, but these people that are luring in our kids are very good. Now, it is true that 1 out of 6 guys and 1 out of 7 girls have sent a nude. That's even more urgent, mom and dad, for you to have that conversation. You don't know if it's your child or not, but they need to understand that never again can they afford to send a nude online. With 5.5 billion people online, there are millions of predators and pedophiles that are looking to get a nude. The other reason this is such an important conversation is they may not even send a nude, they may just send something normal. But there are 60 nudify sites in the world. Most of them are offshore, so they're not limited to our laws. And they will take that photo and turn it into a nude. And your kid's running around going, Mom, that ain't me. And he's going to school, that ain't me. That ain't me. Well, that's not me. Okay, clean up my English here. It's not me. It doesn't matter. The point is your child is now interacted with the cartel and they have a photo. So this is why this discussion is so important. We have to help our kids understand that the criteria that they used before will no longer work because the world changed. The world became globally connected, and third world developing countries have access to our homes and our kids, and they will look good and they will know about you and they will be your new best friend. That's because they have a list of your friends on all your social media and they already know about you. This conversation is one of the most urgent conversations we can have with our young people. I would encourage you to buy the book Digital Warfare, whether it's at Amazon or millionkids.org. I would encourage you to equip yourself. We need leaders like you to help us with this project. You have a sphere of influence. You have people who you can talk to, and you can be a leader. You can be a Million Kids leader or a leader wherever you want to be. But we need to get this into churches. Do you know of those 45 young men that ended up taking their own life? What happens is the minute they send that nude, the cartels become absolutely brutal. One kid, they demand money and a lot of it. And guess what? Our kids know how to send money. And our kids are ashamed and they're embarrassed. And the next thing that will happen is that predator will hold up a picture of that nude child along with a list of their Instagram followers. And they're going to say, this photo is going out to everyone on this list. And your kid panics. They don't know what to do. They're afraid you're going to take the phone. They're afraid they're going to be humiliated. They will change their behavior. They may become very secretive. They may need money fast. Okay. Sit down with your child. If you see a change in behavior, say, what's going on here? And say, whatever it is, I'm not going to take your phone. I'm not going to wag my finger. I am not going to reject you. I am here with you. I am here for you. And whatever it is, I'm going to help you through it. If your child is already a victim, screenshot all the information and then block them. But alert your young person. These people are cartels. they have access to everything. They're going to come back as somebody else. So, what happens in financial sextortion? They're a friend of a friend, they get an illicit photo, and they start demanding large amounts of money. They show you the photo along with all your friends, and they tell you your life is over, that they need more money or they're going to destroy you. One of these beautiful young kids took their life within 35 minutes. I sat through every one of those stories, and every parent there said, I have never heard of financial sextortion. And apparently, the young people had not either. They didn't know what to do, but now they have lost their most prized young person, and their life is upside down. We say never again. I need you. I need you to join with me and kids. Yes, we need the fundraising. Certainly, we need that. But we also need an army of people out there helping us spread the word. You know what's so important about this? This is a conversation. We don't need a pill or an injection. We don't need, yes, legislation would help, but we need friends talking to friends. If you're going to have a friend of a friend, share with them about financial sextortion. Educate yourself with this book and become a leader everywhere you go. If you're a teacher, it's a tremendous opportunity to share with your young people. If you're a pastor or someone in your church, share it with all the adults so they can share it with their kids. Have those important conversations. We have to change the criteria. For many years, we taught our kids to look for a friend of a friend. That'll give you an idea if they're really legitimate. Now, those are some of the most dangerous words you can hear. The script has been flipped, okay? And no longer is a friend of a friend a good thing, because this could be financial sextortion. I don't think I'll ever sleep or rest again until I know that everyone in the US knows what financial sextortion is and how it works. That's why I wrote the book, and I want it in the hands of parents and teachers, Sunday school teachers, youth ministers, everybody we can get it in the hands of. This is very, very important. The world changed. The world's connected, and all the cartels around the world have the same technology as your kid does, and they know how to use it on you and your child. We got to get our kid ready. Besides that, as I've said, your child is a leader at the most historic time in all of history. They will lead all future generations in a globally connected world. I think of it as when they first invented cars and how important it was to understand how good a car can be and how bad a car can be. Technology is not good or bad. It's like a car. You can take it to university and get a degree, or you can take it to a strip club and get it yourself in trouble. Or you can commit a crime with it, and criminals all over the world know how to use it better than you or your child. We have to change that. And that is what we're all about. So my name is Opal, Opal Singleton. You can reach me at Opal, Opal, at millionkids.org. Please go to millionkids.org and download the audio version if you want. I think it's only like $5. Go on to Amazon and buy it in paperback, or you can always get it for Kindle too. It's not that expensive. But the information in this book can save a life. It can save the life of someone you know and love, but it can also help you to become a leader, to join with Million Kids as a leader, to educate everyone in your community, to be the influencer that you need to be. Everybody wants to be an influencer these days. Let me help you. But to be an influencer, you have to be educated. So the way you get educated is you read this book, you contact us, get involved. If you can support this financially, go to millionkids.org and hit that donate button. We would love it, love it, love it. We need this to keep it going. But we need to be able to say, as a nation, as Christian families, as people who care deeply, We need to be able to say, never again are you going to get one of our kids because we didn't know. We can fix this just by talking to each other and preparing ourselves for leadership. Won't you join us? This is Opal Singleton, millionkids.org, and I'll see you on the next podcast.